I get asked all the time, what are the pros and cons between joining eXp Realty versus joining Keller Williams? Because I was actually at Keller Williams for 4 years before joining eXp, which I've now been at, gosh, almost a decade. And when I was with Keller Williams, great company, loved my time there. I was on the Agent Leadership Council. I was a productivity coach. I took their flagship course at the time, not sure if it still is, called Bold, like 6 times, had my whole team take it. Really loved my time at Keller Williams, but I just couldn't pass up the opportunity at eXp for me. So I wanted to provide just a little bit more insight of why I joined eXp, and maybe it's a good fit for you, maybe it's not. But in this video, I'm sharing some of my most popular videos around the topic. You'll hear more about why I joined eXp and also some comments on social media that others have made about Keller Williams and really my take on it. And again, I think both companies are great. You really got to do what's best for you. And thank you for watching this video as part of your due diligence process. If you could and get some value from this video, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps out me and other agents watching it. So enjoy the video and I'll see you at the end.
But first, a quick background, my real estate career. So got licensed at the end of 2012, right off the bat joined Keller Williams. Loved my time at Keller Williams, met a lot of great friends there, learned a lot. And I never thought I'd actually leave Keller Williams unless it was to start my own real estate brokerage. I had a real estate team, few agents doing about 20 million a year in sales, 600,000 gross commission, just over was my best year selling houses. And it was at the end of 2016 when I was like, you know, I want to see what else is out there. So I decided to go to ESO, Expansion Systems Orientation, which is Keller Williams training on how to expand both in your local market and, you know, nationwide. There's a lot of agents doing this. And I really enjoyed the class. You know, there was nothing wrong with it. However, you know, I thought there had to have been something more. It didn't seem like, you know, there was maybe a lot of profit in it, but I was gonna give it a shot. It seemed like kind of like it was more in beta mode at the time, but I was gonna give it a shot. So I got back, this was October 2016, got back to my local market, told my real estate coach, you know, I'm gonna do this expansion thing and I'm gonna give it my all for 1 year. And if I like what's happening, if I like how it's progressing, if I'm enjoying myself, if the lifestyle fits me, then I'm gonna keep going. If not, I'm gonna start my own real estate brokerage. You know, because at that time I was, between me and all my agents, we were paying, you know, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year to the market center. And, you know, not getting a lot of value because we always hired outside coaches and whatnot. So we're gonna do our own thing. I loved Keller Williams. You know, I just want to make that point clear. Still a great company. I've been to Bold 5 times. People that love Bold are like, yeah, that's awesome. People that have been to Bold once and would never go again are like, man, I'm sorry to hear that you went to Bold 5 times. But I went to Bold 5 times. My wife went twice. I was on the ALC for 2 years. So I was heavily invested in KW. But anyways, so my real estate coach says, before you do anything, just take a look at this video. And it was a video, a webinar on eXp. And I have the same one that I can share with you if you want to take a look at that. So I watched it that night and I was absolutely blown away. If you haven't seen this webinar, you gotta check it out because I actually couldn't even sleep that night. I watched it several times over the weekend while I was walking my dogs. I was listening to the audio. I showed my wife, I think that Saturday night. And I knew that that following week I was gonna make the switch, because the model to me was so powerful. You see, when I first joined Keller Williams, I saw the opportunity for profit share. I didn't join because of the profit share. I didn't even know about it when I first joined, but once I did join, I saw that there was some people, one of the gentlemen who was an owner in my region, you know, my team leader was like, you know, this guy's making $20,000, $30,000 a month passive income, you know, traveling, doing all this cool stuff, you know, I wanna help you get there. And after about 4 years, my profit share never exceeded $5,000, $6,000 a year. And what I've discovered is if you really want big opportunity inside of that system, you know, you probably need to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars, open new territory, which there isn't a lot left, maybe buy a market center or whatever it might be. I just didn't have the money. I didn't have the desire to go that far into the management, the growth of it. I saw that the profit share probably wasn't gonna be something that was gonna completely change my life. Grateful for that amount of money that was coming in, but it wasn't life-changing. But when I saw eXp, I saw it positioned as where it was in the 90s. Just massive growth opportunity, ground floor opportunity. eXp is still a ground floor opportunity only 2 years later. When I joined, we had only 2,400 agents. which was like too early. People like still had no idea what it even was, so it was harder to, you know, share the eXp opportunity with people because it was just so new. But now it's like prime time. We have over 16,000 agents now. The buzz is out there. You know, our company's starting to go viral. We're growing really fast, so now it's like the perfect time to get in. I saw that as a big opportunity to earn some passive income that could potentially change my life, change the lives of my team members, and the lives of the agents that I know in the industry. And you know, one of my mentors said to me, AJ, worst case scenario, in a couple of years, you're still selling a bunch of houses. Best case scenario, it completely changes your life. And that's what I was going for. So first I want to talk about the 5 reasons why an agent would join eXp, or why I think they should join eXp. And then I'm going to talk about why I joined and what my goals were, what my thought process was, my mindset when I first joined the company. So the first reason an agent would join is because of the commission splits. It's 80-20 commission split. That's great for cash flow, especially if you're not a capping agent. If you don't know what a capping agent is, that just simply means once you pay in a certain amount of money into your brokerage, you cap. At eXp, it's $16,000. That's the number 2 reason why you'd want to join eXp. So, say on a $10,000 commission check, if you're at a brokerage where I was, KW, it was pretty much $6,436 by the time you consider the franchise fee. So I would keep $6,400 of a $10,000 commission check. But at eXp, I'd keep $8,000. That's a $1,400 difference. That's a big deal, especially for agents who don't cap, because that's real money. The second reason that I just mentioned is the cap. It's a $16,000 cap. My cap was $25,000. You know, that's a big difference too. Once you cap, there is a $250 transaction fee that goes into play for the next 20 transactions, with a $5,000 cap on that. However, once you hit that cap, you're eligible to become an icon agent, and what that means is you get your entire cap back in the form of company stock. I was awarded that my first year with the company, got my entire $16,000 back in stock. Huge blessing at the time where it was trading at. That was around 4,500 shares of stock, which today, at the time of this video, the stock's around $11 a share. You do the math, 4,500 times 11, that's a whole lot better than even a 100% company. And we have a lot of icon agents in our company. In most markets, you need to sell about 30, 32 homes to be an icon agent. Even if you don't become an icon agent, the cap is still only $16,000. That's not bad. So reason number 1 was the splits. Reason number 2 was the cap. Reason number 3, I think, is the training and technology. The cloud campus, we have over 30 hours every single week being taught by top producers all around the country, and a video archive. That's huge. The training is unmatched. Being able to get your questions answered in real time. If I have any concern, question, I go right into the cloud campus, and within a matter of minutes, I'm getting my question answered real time. You got to see the cloud environment. It is so cool. And the lead generation platform, KV Core or Commissions Inc. you get to choose from. Great lead generation systems. I mean, I was paying for Boomtown at one time $1,500 a month to do what KV Core can do. For $50 a month is the monthly tech fee at eXp. That's pretty dang good. The 4th reason is the stock. I was like, if I'm selling houses anyways, why wouldn't I want to be at a company where I can earn stock? So right now, on the first sale of every single year, you get $200 in stock. When you cap, you get $400 in stock. When you refer an agent to eXp, you get stock when they sell their first house. I already told you about the Icon Agent program. And also, if you want to take 5% of your commissions and go into the agent equity program, you get to take 5% of your commissions and buy the stock at a 20% discount. That's like an automatic retirement program going into play for you. Super cool, and that's only available for eXp agents. Now the 5th reason is the revenue share. So on the first level, or the first tier, whatever you want to call it, when you sponsor an agent at eXp, if they're a capping agent, that's $2,800 a year is what you get paid. Say you sponsor 5 agents, that's 5 times 2,800. All right, I just grabbed my calculator. I'll make it a little bit easier on you. So 5 agents, if they're all cappers, that's $2,800 times 5. That's $14,000 in revenue share. What I help my team do is help those people tell other agents about eXp. So if you sponsor 5 agents and then they sponsor 5 agents, that's another 25 on your second tier. So if we do 25 and on your second tier for a capping agent, you get $3,200 per year. And this is paid out per month for the previous month when they close a transaction. You don't wait till the end of the year, it is paid monthly. I get that question all the time. So 25 times $3,200 is $80,000. So on your first tier, you're getting paid $14,000, and on your second tier, you're getting paid $80,000 for a total of $94,000 a year in revenue share. And what I liked about that is it was set percentages. So I was like, you know, I can business plan around that, I can budget around that, I know what it's gonna be every single time someone closes a transaction. On the first tier, if I sponsor someone, they sell a house, $10,000 check, that total commission, I get paid $350 because it's 3.5% of the gross commission. So I was like, well, that's pretty cool. Now, this is where it gets into what my mindset was when I joined eXp. So I was like, I'm gonna keep selling a bunch of houses. That's how I pay the bills. That's how I provide the lifestyle for myself and my wife. And we're doing pretty good. But I was like, if I can just share eXp with some agents that I bump into or that ask me about it because they're curious, you know, why I made the switch from my previous brokerage. Well, what if I could get 5 a year? This is me sponsoring 5 a year for the next 5 years. That would have me sponsoring 25 total in 5 years. And the example I just gave you was just sponsoring 5. Could you sponsor 5 over 5 years? I don't know about you, but I have some favorite restaurants. I have some favorite places to travel to. I absolutely love Amazon Prime, so I'm referring that all the time. You share things that you love. And if you're not at a company that you love, then you probably shouldn't be at that company. You should be so ecstatic about the brokerage that you're with that you want to share it with other people. That's my mindset. That's my thought process, at least. I thought in 5 years I'd sponsor 25, you know, one every other month or so. And I was hoping, based on what other agents in the company have done, my mentors, that could grow into 500 within 5 years. That was my goal. 25 in 5 years, that would turn into 500 agents in 5 years through the 7 levels of revenue share that eXp offers. To me, that would mean financial freedom, complete abundance, like just so excited, like 10 out of 10, crushed my goals, so excited. So what actually happened? Well, after my first year, I only sponsored 9 because I was heavily focused on selling houses, and this eXp thing, I was still feeling it out. We only had 2,400 agents. We weren't even on the NASDAQ stock exchange yet. So I didn't know what it was yet. So I wasn't really telling everybody about it. It was usually like someone would ask me and I'd be like, hey, watch this video I watched. I'm excited about it. Maybe you'll like it. It was that simple. So that 9 turned into 157 that first year. Pretty good, right? I was happy with it. Seemed pretty good. I didn't really know what to expect that first year. But after the first year, I saw that this was happening. I saw that it wasn't the worst case scenario like my mentor told me, which is, you know, I'm still just selling a bunch of houses. I saw passive income coming in. I mean, that first year I had a month where I earned $6,900 in revenue share. I think I did that by August, July or August. So I was like, you know, this is something. I'm gonna start sharing it with the agents that I've met at conferences, that I've had cross sales with. I'm gonna reach out to a handful of them. And I mean, to this day, I haven't reached out to that many people. It's mostly people reaching out to me because they're curious. So fast forward to end of year 2, I have 25 in my first tier. I actually hit 25 like in June or July in my first tier. And I hit 500, which was my 5-year goal. I hit 500 June 18th. That was what, 18 months in? Absolutely unbelievable, amazing. I have a great team. I have so many high caliber real estate professionals on my team, like go-getters, and we have a system now. We have a duplicatable system on how to replicate this success. We're doing it all over the country. Out of those 500 agents, it's now 6 months later turned into over 1,000 agents in 33 states and 2 Canadian provinces so far. And that's absolutely unbelievable. That's like 4 times, 5 times the size of my previous office. Like, that's absolutely mind-blowing to me. My wife and I, this past August, we sold our house, and we've been traveling the country for the last 6 months, not to grow eXp, but just for fun. We still are working on the road and helping our team grow, but we're completely living a passive income-driven lifestyle because of the opportunity at eXp. I feel so blessed that we came across this opportunity, that someone had the courage to share it with me, and it's completely changed our lives. I'm super impressed with the company. I did not expect this. It's just, when something offers that much value, it becomes this thing where when people know what it truly is, not just what they heard about it, they want to be a part of it. And at this point, we're part of a movement. We're changing real estate agents' lives. My mission is to help as many agents as possible to be able to earn enough revenue share to where they can pay their mortgage, their car payments. Because if you're a real estate agent watching this, which I'm sure you are if you're watching it, this far into it, a lot of real estate agents don't even pay their taxes, or they don't pay them on time, or they go a couple months without a sale and they can't pay their car payment or their mortgage because they're in a little, slump. But what if you had $3, $4, $5, $10,000 a month in revenue share coming in? I get all the time, like, how does that even work that the company shares revenue? Like, the revenue's already out there. Like, we're cloud-based, so we don't have all that bricks and mortar, so we can share more of our revenue than, say, a bricks and mortar company, but all that money's already out there. Instead of just the owners keeping it all, now it's flowing down through the agents. The reality is the agents are the ones that are building these companies. And for the first time ever, now the agents are being rewarded for it. So right off the bat, con, if you're into recruiting for their profit share, it comes from the owner's profit. Profit can be shuffled around and you get very little money. Companies such as eXp and Exit provide revenue share which come from corporate, much higher amount. Also, KW does not offer stock. Okay, a couple things here. So basically what this agent's saying is that Keller Williams can play with the profit share model so that they're not paying out the true profit is what I'm getting. Whereas with eXp and Exit, I'm not too familiar with their model. It's revenue, which is off the top, whereas profits what's left over. Just like when you file your taxes, for example, you look for a lot of write-offs, so you pay taxes on the littlest amount of profit as possible, right? So she's kind of hinting at that same thing with the Keller Williams profit share model. The next agent that is kind of responding to that is saying that it can't be shuffled around, that there's a budget, yada, yada, yada. But this agent here, Lynn, has a good example of when there was profit in the market center in which she was to receive profit on, the owner paid back themselves their initial investment or part of their initial investment from a year prior to that month when that profit share was supposed to be paid out, thus resulting in either no profit share or less profit share. And that does make sense. Owners of these market centers, when they have an initial investment, if they're going to be paid back, that's going to come out of future profit. So that would affect profit share. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that or fishy about the model per se. That's just the reality of a profit share model. Sarah here says she was paying nearly $35,000 a year by the time she paid her cap, her franchise fee for Bold, which is a great course, by the way, for any agents can really attend it. You don't have to be a KW agent. Her office rent and other things that she was encouraged to pay. Thought it wasn't worth it overall, and that everyone ghosted her, guessing the support from the market center. Bill, responding to defend KW, said that he really liked Bold, it sounds like. He's kind of defending it, and I loved Bold. I took Bold 6 times, and the second time through really is what changed my real estate career. That was in my first year of real estate. That, along with hiring a Mike Ferry coach initially, is what changed my real estate career. So again, Bold's a great course. So Sarah responded to Bill that she actually was a team leader. This is essentially the broker, not necessarily the broker, but in most offices they'd be considered like the broker in charge. But at Keller Williams, they have a team leader. They're kind of responsible for recruiting and overall culture of the office. So that's what her position was, and it was in her contract that she had to cap. And she wasn't into Bold because of the chanting and what she says, the cultish stuff. You definitely get out of your comfort zone in Bold, no doubt about it. So I can see where she's coming from. And that she tried talking to some of her former friends, and she either gets no response or some of them turned her Facebook page in because she didn't change her name quick enough after she had left KW. So that's interesting, and you see that sometimes, I think probably from any brokerage. When you leave your broker, sometimes people that you think are your friends, if you go to a different brokerage, they're not really your friends, right? They don't continue to talk to you. So essentially, I kind of look at it like this, because sometimes when agents are looking to change brokerages, they're afraid that their friends aren't going to be their friends afterwards. I'm like, let me find that out as soon as possible, because if they're only my friends because I'm at that brokerage, well, they're not really true friends. What I found when I actually switched from KW to eXp, the people that were really my friends, I stayed in touch with. And then my colleagues per se, I didn't talk to them anymore. Why would you talk to just plain colleagues. You know, we have enough people in our lives, family, friends, to stay in touch with. My true friends did stay in touch with me, and I stayed in touch with them. Another agent says way too many brokerages out there to avoid $30K. Even the big ones have changed their structure. So this agent thought that paying in $30K to KW was too much. Of course, not all KWs charge that much, but it sounds like maybe their market center office did. I'm actually surprised that there's not more positive comments so far. I see some people really sharing some negative stuff about KW, and not so many sharing positive things right now. Definitely some people defending the negative things being said, but you would think that more KW agents that had positive experiences would just share that without being prompted to first. Now this one's interesting. Keith actually says that when he left KW, the team leader essentially put out a Facebook post saying that he was fired due to culture, and what really happened is he quit and gave his resignation. Now, of course, there's always two sides to every story. With every point that these agents are making, you know, just take them for what they are. It's that person's sole experience, and I'm just giving my commentary on it. I have found when some people have left KW, because a lot of what I do now is help agents join eXp Realty, and sometimes when they leave KW, the broker or the team leader will spread some misinformation, really to, I guess, keep intact what they have there. You know, if their best agents are leaving to join a different company and they're just going because it's a better opportunity, well, then the other agents still at that office are thinking, well, hey, that agent left for a better opportunity, maybe I should go too. So the person leading that office, oftentimes the team leader, may put out some information that might not be true, that paints the agent who left in a bad light, so that the other agents say, oh, well, that's why that person isn't here anymore. I don't need to go look and see if the grass is actually greener. All right, now this is a really good one. I appreciate what Emily says. She said she wouldn't generalize as a whole brand, but check out the leadership in your local marketplace. If good, then go for it. And she found a really good one in her market. And she's not a new agent, and they support her incredibly well, it looks like. I couldn't agree with that more. I was at a good Keller Williams office when I was there for the 4 years, and there was another office about an hour away, and I would actually sometimes drive there for their trainings, and the leadership there and the trainings and just the overall office environment was next level. If I rated mine as a 7, I would say theirs was probably a 9 in terms of office culture. So I totally get what Emily's saying, and I think that's great advice. If you are looking to join KW, go in there, spend some time in the office, talk to the agents, interview them. They shouldn't be interviewing you, right? A lot of newer agents think that they're actually going in to be interviewed by the broker, when in fact you're interviewing the broker to see if it's a good fit for you. It's definitely 100% leadership driven at these local Keller Williams offices. It's not one big culture like at eXp, because we are a cloud-based brokerage. It's all one big culture, one big fire. And at KW, it's so, I guess, fractionalized at the local level because it is a franchise. So I love Emily's advice here. I think that's great advice. Now Danny has some pretty good advice, very similar to my experience actually. So he spent 6 years with Keller Williams. They were a great 6 years for learning and building relationships with owners and team leaders. He was on the leadership council for 2 years and took up productivity coaching while I was there. I also was on the ALC Agent Leadership Council for 2 years. I was a productivity coach for a year. And he says in hindsight, he wishes he would have left early, but was pretty blinded by KW culture. And he realizes now that there's better ways to do business if you're aligned with the right people. I couldn't agree more. I don't wish I left sooner because I didn't know what else was out there. And I don't think I was blinded by the culture. I just didn't have anyone to expose me to new information until my sponsor at eXp, Cliff, shared with me the video that I now share with so many agents. And if you guys want to take a look at that, the video I watched that absolutely blew my mind when I saw it 5.5 years ago, that caused me to leave KW to eXp, then just go ahead and email me. You can hit me up at aj@ajmoney.com. And there'll also be my information in the description of this video. And while you're at it, if you like content like this, hit the subscribe button and give me a like. Would really appreciate it. I love my time at Keller Williams. I'm thankful for my time there. Met amazing people. I think it's a great company. I just believe, knowing what I know now, that because eXp offers additional streams of income, agent ownership, this is stock in the company, and revenue sharing, this is a piece of the revenue, no one else can compete. So that's why I switched. Rebecca, she's straight to the point. I love it. Pro, if you're a new agent, great for training. The culture is amazing. Con, high cap. I agree. Great training for new agents. Culture is amazing. In all caps, amazing. I agreed with that while I was there, but after I left,
kind of taking a peek behind the curtain, like a lot of agents also in this thread really pointed to and discussed. When you leave, it's kind of like, you're dead to me. And the culture while you're there is one thing, and the culture when you leave is a completely different thing oftentimes. And that's unfortunate. It shows how transactional the relationship is. And to me, just wanting authentic relationships, that doesn't jive with me being on this side of it. But while I was there, I did think the culture was amazing. So this is cool. Rebecca's actually at a different brokerage now. She's at a flat fee brokerage. And the people that she visits back at her KW Coral Springs, they still treat her so warm every time she visits. See, that's what it's about. And I think my office, for the most part, was the same way. I just see so many agents now, when they leave, they're not treated with the same kindness and respect. Lisa says she can only speak from her own experience. There's nothing positive to say, but it's just the brokerage I went to work for, but it's not the right fit for me. So she had a completely negative experience. I'm sure if you look for it, there are some positive things you can find. Now this review is super positive. So Tony says KW is an incredible company. They have heart. It's not just about business. It's about helping their agents have a life worth having and leaving a legacy. KW Cares is their support agents. Now KW Cares is an amazing charity. They help so much when natural disasters come through and people in need, or their agents get sick, diagnosed with maybe something terminal. They really help the families. So KW Cares is really an amazing organization, and it's something that all brokerages can aspire to have something like that. And I think that's really great. Training's amazing. Cons, he says they have a lot to offer and sometimes it becomes overwhelming. That's why they have training, coaching systems in place. I think that's so true. I kind of refer to it as like going to a buffet, like a Golden Corral. There's so many things on the menu, and you eat a little bit of all these different things on this 20-foot buffet, and you get stuff, but you're not like, that's the best meal I ever had. And that's how I felt at Keller Williams. There's tons of training, but because it was so segmented and I was learning so much and nothing really was in alignment with one another, or I guess nothing really built upon the next thing. It was just do this, do that, do this, do that. I was doing so many different things, and I was never really fulfilled, never really satisfied in my business because I didn't have a focus, and I never really generated a lot of business until I hired a coach and went deep on one lead generation activity. So I couldn't agree more with that con. I don't think the problem is that there's too much. I think it's kind of how it's arranged and presented. And I get it because agents are coming in every single day and they're at a different phase in their business. So you can't really custom tailor it for every single agent. That's why having a coach is so important. So the local office training, I think, is kind of a con. And they have coaching, but I mean, you can hire a coach when you're with any company. I think the best coaches are coaching companies that specialize in coaching, not a brokerage that added coaching as a pillar to their business to generate more income. I would rather go with a coach that specializes in coaching, like a Mike Ferry organization, Tom Ferry, Lars Hedenborg at Real Estate B School. I'm hearing great things about Glover U. So there's a lot of coaching companies out there. I don't think KW selling coaching is a benefit. And Tony mentions here that it's about helping agents have a life worth having and leaving a legacy. And it's a great motto, and I am so behind that. And BOLD teaches, BOLD stands for Business Objective Life by Design. And what's so interesting is the people teaching BOLD, God bless them, they travel to the same city like 7 weeks in a row. It was 7 weeks when I took it, I believe. So 7 weeks in a row, they're flying in from somewhere else, and they're probably doing 3 or 4 of those a week. So they're flying to 3 to 4 different cities every single week on repeat, not home with their families. They're jet lagged. They're doing so many miles in the air. That's just a tough way to live, being away from your family that long, doing that many miles in the air. So it's like for the person teaching Business Objective Life by Design, they're getting burned out by traveling so much. And from so many BOLD coaches who are no longer BOLD coaches, that's what I hear over and over and over. So while in philosophy it's a great mindset to have Business Objective Life by Design, the reality is it keeps you on this treadmill of selling more houses year after year after year, getting burnt out and never really having that life by design. When I joined eXp, and again, I took BOLD 6 times because I wanted that life by design, but when I found eXp and I found the revenue share model, I realized having residual income is the only way to have a life by design. And that's why I was able to retire from selling real estate just a year after joining eXp. So this is the last review I'll read, and then I'll kind of give you my pros and cons. Lisa says that she's sorry it took her 4 years to go elsewhere. Why give a company $21,000 plus per year before you get to keep 100% of your commission? I totally get that. When I look at
brokerages, I look at what is the value exchanged for what you're paying your broker. And $21,000 is a lot of money. So if you're not getting that value in return, then you should go somewhere else. Being at Keller Williams for 4 years and now being at eXp for 5 years, what I take away from my time at Keller Williams is it's a great fit for maybe a newer agent that needs to be in an office. You want people around you. You want to be able to walk in to the team leader's office or the broker's office and ask questions if they're there, and really get that hand holding, that nurturing experience. But if you're more of a self-motivated agent and you just want to get out there and crush it and you're okay working remotely, then eXp might be a great fit for you. Check out Remax. You can go into an office environment there too. So there's a lot of good brokerages that have bricks and mortar, but a virtual experience I think is great for the agent who's self-motivated, because the benefits you get with a virtual brokerage is amazing technology, work from anywhere, and then with eXp, the stock and the revenue share. We have 3 ways to earn income at eXp, where KW really have 1. Yeah, there are profit shares there, but in my experience, that opportunity's kind of sailed. My profit share there was never much, whereas the rev share at eXp, I've been able to retire on it. So I don't really see that as a second stream of income at KW unless you got in there years and years and years ago. But I'm sure there's others doing well with it. That's just my experience. So I think if you're a new agent, you want that hand holding experience, KW could be a good option. Another pro that I like about KW is the culture is learning, the culture is growth mindset. So when you get in that environment and you've never been exposed to it before, maybe you'll start reading more personal development books. Maybe you'll hire a coach for the first time. Maybe you'll join a mastermind group or whatever it might be. And that all helps. Some of the cons, yeah, it's expensive for what you get. I was paying $25,000 total by the time you consider the franchise fee and the office cap. And in addition to that, there was miscellaneous fees like desk fees, and none of that money ever came back. At eXp, I had a $16,000 cap, so right there I was saving about $9,000. And if I became an icon agent in my market, it was someone selling about 28 houses a year, I actually got that $16,000 back in company stock. So there's a way at eXp to earn back your cap in stock. So that's pretty cool, plus the revenue share. And the culture at eXp is incredible too. So if you were to put the cultures side by side, I think KW is great, but I think eXp wins because we're all agent owners. We're all incentivized financially to help each other. So that was one of the things that I really liked about eXp. So cons, again, at KW, the cost. Cons, I think their training could be more organized in a way that's more beneficial for that local agent, the small guy who can't yet afford a coach and just trying to figure things out, rather than giving them this buffet to choose from. Have somebody maybe in the office that can really point them in the right direction, hold them accountable. The challenge with that is it's just hard to do that. It's hard to do that with so many agents. I mean, my KW office had like 250 agents and 1 team leader and 1 broker, and the broker is really there for compliance. Team leader is there to really help you with your business plan and stuff. They just don't have enough time in the day, plus a lot of times they're still selling houses, so they don't really have the time to give you that one-on-one support. So that's a challenge.
All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. You got to know a little bit more of why I joined eXp and some of the pros and cons related to both companies. So if you have any more questions, book a call with me. I'd be happy to chat with you about whether or not eXp is a good fit for you. Link in the description. I partner with agents, giving them free coaching and mentoring. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely book a call with me.